Celebrities often come on talk shows to promote themselves and their upcoming movies or albums. Late-night talk shows are often used as a famous marketing tool. It is also a good way to connect to the fans. And also the talk show hosts use the opportunity to get to know juicy stories about the celebrities. But certain celebrities end up doing something so unexpected that they get banned from the show. Most of the time a celebrity is banned from late-night talk shows is because of their behavior. The job of a talk show host can be tricky, as they have to get coral famous people, and also stick to the schedule. But sometimes celebrities make their job hard, and then end up getting banned from the show. Harmony Korine was banned from The Late Show with David Letterman. Known for his film Spring Breakers, director Harmony Korine got himself banned from The Late Show with David Letterman. David Letterman had the director as a guest quite a few times on his Late Show during the mid to late 90s. At the time he used to be high on crack and heroin. But the one appearance that made the host ban him. The host finally, in 2013, revealed the reason behind the ban, when James Franco, a friend of the band director, asked for it. He told, "I went upstairs to greet Meryl Streep and welcome her to the show. I knock on the door and she was not in there. And I looked around and I found Harmony going through her purse." True story. "And so I said, 'That's it, put her things back in her bag and then get out.'" Bobcat Goldthwaite was banned from The Tonight Show. Comedian Bobcat Goldthwaite made a late-night appearance that literally went down in flames. In 1994, Goldthwaite was a guest on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno when he decided to set his chair on fire. It may have seemed spontaneous, but Goldthwaite came prepared with lighter fluid and a lighter hidden up his sleeve. The host and the other guest managed to put out the fire with water they had available. But the host ensured that Goldthwaite never came back. He also was charged with a $3,880 fine. It was used to replace the chair and pay the PSA. Dax Shepard was banned from Late Night with Conan OBrien. It is no secret that Dax Shepard had a phase where he became highly addicted to drugs and alcohol. As a result, Conan OBrien banned him from his show till he sobered up. In a podcast, Pursuit of Healthiness in 2004, Dax shared his disastrous experience at the talk show. He shared, "I had done the pre-interview in a blackout, and I woke up to the hotel security shaking me awake. And I was with a stranger and the stranger had peed the bed, or I had peed the bed. Someone had peed the bed. And this occurred 20 minutes before his appearance. And he did not remember the pre-interview which made the appearance even worse." Gary Busey was banned from The Howard Stern Show. In his 2001 appearance at The Howard Stern Show, the actor Gary Busey tried to wrestle with the host of the talk show. The actor forgot the bounds of personal space. The actor created a huge mess on the set of the show as he picked on the co-host, Robin Quivers. And did not stop at that, he tried to wrestle Howard Stern on the floor. He chased the poor host across the entire set in an attempt to do so. When asked about it, Gary Busey's answer was just as shocking as his behavior. He said, "I have 13 separate personality parts that I know of. That personality you saw on Howard Stern that day is Pesky, the excitable boy." Jay Leno was not welcome at Late Night with Conan OBrien. One of the biggest and most bitter talk show host feuds has to be the one between Jay Leno and Conan OBrien. In 2010, Jay Leno had been hosting The Tonight Show on NBC since 1992. And in the 2000s, Conan OBrien was getting offers from other studios to become the host for them. In an attempt to not lose the talk show host, NBC promised him Jay Leno's place when his contract expired in 2009. But it did not go quite as planned. Now, in an attempt to keep Leno to themselves, NBC gave him his own show, while OBrien was given The Tonight Show. But it messed up the entire schedule, and NBC had to give The Tonight Show back to Leno. This made Conan upset, and hence Jay Leno got banned from the show. Jon Stewart said Hugh Grant was the worst guest he ever had. In an interview with Stephen Colbert in 2012, Jon Stewart was asked to name his least favorite guest on The Daily Show. His answer was actor Hugh Grant. "And we've had dictators on this show," Stewart said. According to Stewart, Grant spent his time complaining to production staff and claiming he had better places to be. When Stewart showed a promotional clip, provided to him by Grant's publicist, of his film Did You Hear About the Morgans?, Grant complained about the clip selected. Stewart's response: "Well, then make a better fucking movie." Stewart said he would never have the actor back on the show. When he learned of Stewart's comments, Grant responded in a tweet: "Turns out my inner crab got the better of me with TV producers in 09. Unforgivable. Jay Stewart is correct to give me kicking." Howard Stern has a long-standing feud with Jay Leno stemming from Stern's 1995 appearance on The Tonight Show. For decades, Howard Stern and Jay Leno have shared an intense mutual dislike, which appears to stem from Stern's chaotic appearance on The Tonight Show in 1995. Stern walked onto the stage with two bikini-clad women and prompted the women to kiss each other. Throughout the segment, Stern continued to blur the line between guest and host, often talking over Leno and his other guests, Gene Siskel and Robert Ebert. Leno was reportedly so furious that he nearly walked off the set and yelled at Stern's producer that he'd shitted in his house. Leno later called into Stern's show to say the radio host had gone beyond the acceptable standards. Since then, Stern has continuously insulted Leno to just about any person that will listen. He has frequently chimed in on Leno's feuds with Conan OBrien and David Letterman, and claims that Leno has ripped off his material. On his end, Leno has mostly stayed quiet on the matter, save for a few comments questioning Stern's relevance. In 2004, Stern went after Leno for his alleged plagiarism after Leno hired stuttering John Melendez, who was part of Stern's show. Leno gave Stern the opportunity to come on The Tonight Show and hash things out. Stern refused. Kathy Griffin's been banned from pretty much every show, night or day. Kathy Griffin is known for her controversial antics, such as stripping on live television and posting a fake photo of beheaded President Donald Trump. So it's no surprise that she's on the banned list of many shows that air at all times of the day. To name a few, she has been banned from The Late Show for swearing too much, from Today for making fun of the hosts, and from The View for telling an inappropriate joke about Howard Stern and Barbara Walters. She was also not welcome on the Ellen DeGeneres Show after she claimed DeGeneres had a mean streak and didn't support women. Seth Meyers banned Donald Trump in retaliation. In 2016, late-night host Seth Meyers banned Donald Trump from the show. It was a retaliatory move in response to Trump's own ban. He revoked press credentials from The Washington Post after the news organization printed a headline he didn't like. Meyers, of course, knew he'd banned a person he was unlikely to invite on the show anyway, but this was part of the joke. "We instituted this ban despite the fact he's never been here, or asked to be here, or would ever be caught dead here. I just think that takes an amazing amount of courage on our part. So the ball is in your court, Donald. Either rescind your Washington Post ban, or you're not allowed to appear on the show you have no interest in appearing on. Although maybe now that you can't have it, you're changing your mind." Oprah Winfrey wouldn't go on The Late Show with David Letterman for 16 years. Oprah Winfrey and David Letterman had a quasi-feud for 16 years that was strange because neither seemed to know if or why they were feuding. After appearing on Late Night with David Letterman in 1989, Winfrey instituted a self-imposed ban, refusing to go on the show despite Letterman publicly prodding her. In 2005, Winfrey finally came on to address the issue, but the feud was still shrouded in mystery. Winfrey asked Letterman, "Could you tell me please what has transpired? I have never for a moment had a feud with you." Still, things didn't seem resolved. In 2010, Letterman speculated to Jon Stewart about what he considered the origins of the animosity. While many assumed it had something to do with Letterman's humor, Oprah joke at the 1995 Oscars, Letterman told Stewart that Winfrey hated him because he once made her pay for his lunch. Apparently, Letterman spotted Winfrey having lunch at the same place as him on vacation, and told his server that Winfrey would be picking up the tab. The saga seemed to reach some closure in 2013, when Letterman appeared on Oprah's Next Chapter. Winfrey described that what prompted her self-banning was actually her first appearance on Late Night. Madonna was banned from both of Piers Morgan's shows. Piers Morgan has made his feelings about Madonna clear on a number of occasions, repeatedly trashing her in a bizarre, one-sided feud. Morgan said she wasn't welcome on his CNN show, Piers Morgan Tonight, because she was boring and annoying. When asked to explain further, Morgan revealed, "Madonna and we've never really seen eye to eye. There was a bread roll throwing incident in London in the mid-90s. There was an incident at a hotel in the south of France at the Cannes Film Festival involving a photographer and a bodyguard. There's been an incident involving a pub owned by her recently departed husband, Guy Ritchie, when my brother was the manager." Despite the lack of response from Madonna on her alleged ban, Morgan also called her too vegan for TV and said there was no reason to talk to her when you could talk to Lady Gaga instead. When Madonna promoted her new album on Twitter, Morgan tweeted at the star to again inform her she was banned. Madonna's manager responded with another tweet, a picture of a recent email from Morgan's team to Madonna's requesting that she come on his show. Morgan hurriedly explained that the email was about his UK show, while the ban was for his US show. Then she was banned from both. Jackie Mason was banned from the Ed Sullivan Show over a misunderstanding. Comedian Jackie Mason gained important exposure from his appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show. But in 1964, one appearance almost derailed his entire career. While performing his set on the variety show, Mason looked off camera and saw Sullivan gesturing with 2 fingers to signify he had 2 minutes remaining. The show was being cut shorter than planned due to an airing of a speech by President Lyndon Johnson. Mason began riffing and made a gesture towards Sullivan, pointing at him with his thumb and index finger. From Sullivan's vantage point, however, it appeared Mason was flipping Sullivan the bird. Irate, Sullivan banned Mason from the show and terminated the contract he had for 6 more episodes. The incident made it difficult for Mason to book any television gigs, and he eventually sued Sullivan for defamation, though the case was dismissed. 2 years later, however, Sullivan realized his error and lifted the ban. Mason appeared on the show again, and Sullivan issued a public apology. Johnny Carson didn't just ban Joan Rivers from his show. He refused to speak to her for the rest of his life. Johnny Carson became the host of The Tonight Show in 1962. Around the same time, comedian Joan Rivers was struggling to get her big career break as a woman in a male-dominated comedy scene. The Tonight Show became a launching pad for comics, including Rivers, who found overnight success after appearing on the show, and was also hired as a writer. Rivers and Carson became a dynamic on-screen duo, with Rivers making almost 100 appearances on The Tonight Show over the next 2 decades and serving as the guest host when Carson was away. Rivers credited Carson with giving her a huge career bump and said she rejected competing offers out of loyalty to her mentor. In the mid-80s, however, things soured between Rivers and NBC. She'd never be offered a long-term contract, and when talk of Carson's retirement started, a list of potential replacements was leaked. Rivers wasn't on it. So when she was approached by Fox about starting a new late-night show with her as the host, she took the deal. Rivers initially wanted to keep the show a secret from Carson until everything was finalized because he had a reputation for being temperamental. When the news leaked, Rivers claimed she repeatedly tried to call Carson, but he hung up on her. Carson claimed she never called. Not only was Rivers banned from The Tonight Show, but it was nearly impossible to get anyone to appear on her own show, The Late Show, as they too would be banned from Carson's. Kelsey Grammer and Piers Morgan had a showdown over the actor's ex-wife. When Kelsey Grammer went on Piers Morgan Tonight in 2012, he had one request: don't show any pictures of his ex-wife, Camille Grammer Meyers. The actor was willing to answer questions about his third wife, with whom he'd had an acrimonious divorce, but when her picture was shown in the opening credits, Grammer walked off the set moments before the interview. Morgan tweeted, "So, Kelsey Grammer saw a photo of his ex-wife Camille in the open of our show and legged it. Extraordinary. Never had this happen before. I like Kelsey Grammer personally, but this was a shockingly unprofessional thing to do. I wasn't even going to mention his ex-wife." The actor's publicist, Stan Rosenfield, told The Hollywood Reporter, "Piers needs to take responsibility for what he did to Kelsey. It's called accountability." Morgan went a step further and announced that Grammer was barred from his show. But Grammer didn't seem keen to return. Rosenfield responded, "We have already issued a statement and are not going to engage in this interchange." Vivica A. Fox walked out of an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live after he made fun of Star Jones. Vivica A. Fox and Jimmy Kimmel weren't big fans of each other when she appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2005. Things got off to a rocky start from the introductions. While listing Fox's resume credits, Kimmel finished with, and most harrowing of all, Star Jones as bridesmaid. Fox, who was appearing to promote her new Lifetime movie Missing, told Kimmel she didn't find his jokes about her friend amusing. Kimmel retorted, "It goes both ways. I'm desperate to make this work." Kimmel continued to mention Jones, and Fox walked off, leaving Kimmel to finish the segment with an empty chair. Years later, Kimmel named Fox as the one guest he would never have back.